the Son, the Holy Ghost in me.
Hello everyone, welcome to another End Times 4565 video. And I've been out for a while, but things come around and I'm back now. Going to try a little bit more of this Poleshift information. This is my second go round at this video, and it's probably not going to be as good as the first one, but I guess we could call that rehearsals. Been a while. Let's start off with looking at the Earth Wobble, and we can see here that in May we ran into the same track as 2015, and we were coming around here, and I thought, well, if we stay in 2015, we come around. When we get around over here by September, it'll be probably about the same. But if we break out, that means that the incoming objects are back onto position to pull us around. And lo and behold, the last 3 weeks plotted out as such. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to watch and see where this goes. We'll have to watch and see where this goes. Now you can see here what's happening. It's on the way out. It's on the way out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is proof positive, in my opinion, that the incoming objects have begun their drag and pull magnetically, and the planet is now being pulled around very, very hard. And if it gets outside of these, if it continues this path, as it begins to continue this path, the jet stream is going to get worse and worse. This right here is a telltale sign right here. Don't need nobody to tell me nothing. I'm looking at it right here. We came around, we fell into 2015. We stayed with 2015. It fooled everybody. We were calm. Remember, everything kind of got calm. Everything settled down. And then we began to move. When I saw these two on the 27th, I said to myself, well, if these next ones are out, are right back on 2015, we're good. But if these next ones come out here, this is going to be an obvious sign that the pull has begun. And I believe that the pull has begun. The question is, how far will it go before it snaps? Poleshift, ladies and gentlemen, Poleshift is at the door. Now, of course, when this happens, we won't have the internet to check things out. We'll be completely off the grid in every way. And everyone around the coastal areas, you're going to be more concerned about survival than you are End Times 4565 Poleshift video. But I'm giving you a heads up right here, ladies and gentlemen. I may not be as smart as some of these other cats out here, but I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at this right here and it ain't good. And some of my sources have told me that they have seen and have been watching the incoming objects. But there seems to be a tight very tight clamp on these incoming objects. Reason: because they want to fulfill their agenda. They're going to use, the devil is going to use God's planning to disrupt the people. Just like he did to Adam and Eve in the garden, the devil used God's people to disrupt the creation of the world. Now the devil and his cohorts, they cannot create anything. You understand that? I'll say it one more time. They can't create anything. Okay? They can only form something. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. They can only take 2 or 3 or 4 things of something else to form something. So they're going to take advantage of this situation, ladies and gentlemen. You better keep your eyes on it and be ready at all times. With that being said, I want to look at this jet stream information. Now, this right here is all wrong. You understand that? See how it's broken into pieces? And these troughs are in here. And look how big. Look at the diameter of this broken, chopped up jet stream. Doubling up. Ladies and gentlemen, our northern jet stream is in serious trouble. Because the Arctic is in serious trouble because of the ice melt. The ice melt that has taken place and the ice melt that is taking place. And temperatures are rising. They are rising in the Arctic. This is causing a disruption in the Earth's atmosphere between temperature ranges, and it's causing the jet stream to be completely wrecked. Now, this is going to cause big problems down the road, ladies and gentlemen. Big, big problems down the road. We'll have to see what's going to happen to the Atlantic hurricane season. Because this right here is completely unbelievable. This should be up here. Look where it is. Look at it. See what I mean? See the southern, see the Antarctica jet stream, the South Pole, and the trade winds are sunken way down here. Way down here. And ladies and gentlemen, what's going on in the southern hemisphere, they're going to have one wild ride for whatever winter they get. Of course, the pole shift is going to be changing things. You understand? This is all going to cause absolute weather chaos. Now, that being said, let's go back over here. Bear with me a minute, ladies and gentlemen. You notice I don't have any camera, but I should have a new camera coming in tomorrow. Not that you need to see me. That's for sure. I'd like to invite you to my radio broadcast on Mixlr, and you can also find the programs on SoundCloud. I would like for you, if you have time, to go check those out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't know what to say about this jet stream. It's all wrong. Let me show you. Let's take a look at this. Go here. This is the SO gases are the volcanic gases. Now you're looking right here, of course that's the United States. Now you need to watch this with me. Let's take the obvious. Let's take Hawaii right here, the big island, Kilauea. Well, you can see Kilauea has definitely got a new burst coming out. This will be making news shortly. Now moving along, we see that the Aleutians and around the southern part of Alaska have seemed to calm down. The Aleutians are still wound up. There's a nice storm right here that's wrapping up all of these SO gases and seems to be settling, except for one thing. I want to show you this. Can we start down here? This is where the San Andreas begins. And if you look closely, you can see the whole San Andreas belching under earth gases. You can follow all the way to Yellowstone these fault lines. Notice here in the Pacific, the Cascadia. You can actually see it. Let me zoom in a little better for you. Comes up this way. You can see the Juan de Fuca, the subduction zones. These are faults, ladies and gentlemen. And they are belching SO gases from deep within the earth. This here is part of the reason why the fires in Canada are what they are. Not sure how they started in that, but it's very hot here, and I'm just curious as to what they're going to find that caused these fires. And then there's the New Madrid, which is alive. It's coming more and more and more alive, ladies and gentlemen. The United States, all of this volcanic activity on the west, in the west, from Texas west, look at them. Ladies and gentlemen, they're waking up. They're waking up, ladies and gentlemen. Are you waking up? You really should be. Look at Mexico, Central America. You can expect a big quake in Mexico. Somewheres along here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible areas that's causing big trouble. Now, if one of these explodes into an eruption, volcanic eruption, it would release the pressure. But you can see here, they're feeling the pressure now. Puerto Rico. It's going to start swarming again. I see it here. Pressure. And South America. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take all your time up. Some of you trolls don't like it when I go too long. See this? You know what you need to do, you bunch of trolls? You better pack your little troll bags and get ready to bug out. Maybe just stay where you are even. Huh? This is a real problem right here, ladies and gentlemen. This will burst. Whether it's volcanic or an earthquake, this pressure is really heavy here. So I say these zones need to be watched. And, of course, South America is all these dormant volcanic areas are beginning to wake up. Last but not least, I want to look at Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very dangerous spot right here. This spot right here is fixing to blow. I don't know if it's going to be volcanic or an earthquake, but this area in southern Africa, a lot of people live down here. If this quake breaks loose, it's going to be big. And if it's not a quake, it's going to be an eruption, and it's going to be big. And here, this area here, the map shows you. All you got to do is look at the Esocast and you can see it right there. The Middle East, Saudi Arabia, India. Look at the Himalayas. Ladies and gentlemen, this area here, in this area, the Himalayas, will soon erupt, either with an earthquake or volcanically. In Greece, the dormant volcanoes in Greece, in Italy, ladies and gentlemen, the Gibraltar. You see, all of this is ramping up. It wasn't like this before. Look at this. The Swedish area. Look at Iceland. What? Ladies and gentlemen, look up here. All of this is new activity because of the pressure from underneath the planet. That being said, one more chart for you tonight. Now this is an up-to-date magnetopause, and it doesn't have all of the action that it has been having in the last couple of weeks. Actually, 3 weeks ago, and then we fell into the silent zone. But one thing I've noticed has been constant, and I want to talk about this with you right now. When you go to look at this, and I hope that you do without me, you really need to check it out. The blue lines is the interplanetary magnetic field. This is the magnetic field that's the spin-off of the sun. These are the magnetic fields that come off of our sun. And they pass us by and they go all the way out of our solar system. But these interplanetary magnetic field, this coming from the sun, tells us, it reveals to us our plasma pressure and that's going on behind us. We can see that heavy bow shock is causing, as usual, the IMF to break up. But what you need to notice is the lines seem to stop at times and go back, especially with these waves that are coming in. And where are these waves coming from, ladies and gentlemen? They're coming from the incoming objects. That's where they're coming from. And you notice the interplanetary magnetic field is getting more and more disturbed. Even if the pole cap at times seems to be normal, except for now, and the Van Allen belts seem to be normal, you notice we are losing protection. And the radiation from the sun is getting closer and closer to our planet, and the planet is going to heat up inside and outside. Just going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to show you the interplanetary magnetic field. Watch it closely. You'll see it stopping. Sometimes it backs up and it piles up in front of the bow shock before it begins to move again. Sometimes it doesn't even move. You see as it goes down, down. That's all I wanted to show you about that right here. Keep an eye on these blue lines, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to tell you what's really happening back here. And, of course, watch the waves. Watch those plasma waves. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. Very important. Now, with that being said, I do have a couple other charts I want to show you. But what I want you to do is I want you to prepare yourself for what's coming. So I want you to know that the pole shift is at the door. I believe that the objects are close. Let's look at it this way. There is, let's say that there's a 100% zone from A to B on the incoming objects. I think the incoming objects are 60% done in their approach. I think they're 40% away from perihelion. Remember, the pole shift is going to come before the perihelion. One shift. And then after the perihelion on the other side, there's another shift. And don't forget, the iron oxide dust and debris field it is dragging along with it. The fireballs have tripled in increase and size. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it, I know it, sooner or later, there's impact. I'm not talking about the incoming objects, I'm talking about the trash they're dragging with them. Now, there's going to be a time pretty soon here where you're going to really laugh at n times 4, 5, 6, 5, aren't you? That's a crazy man. And then there's going to be a day come and you're going to say, wow, man, I should have listened to the crazy man. You need to get yourself ready. You need to have your family ready, get yourself ready. You need to get peace with Jesus. Peace with God. And there's only one way to the Father, ladies and gentlemen, and that's through Jesus Christ. There is no other access. Call it what you want. You don't want to get caught without Jesus when this goes down. Personally, I don't know how much longer we're going to be here with this big LGBT movement that's moving on to children now. It has left the adults because the adults have already been sucked in, and now they've moved on to the children. And the parents are letting their children cross-dress. 3, 4, 5 years old. So funny, isn't it? Let me tell you something right here. You're laughing now. I'm going to tell you one thing right here. God is not laughing. What's happening to His creation is breaking His heart. And just like as of the days of Noah when his heart was broken because of the sin in the creation, he had no choice but to wipe out his creation with only a righteous few, a very small remnant. The same thing's happening now, ladies and gentlemen. Lesbians and homosexuals running up and down the streets, suing people for telling them that they're homosexuals. They're flaunting it. They're taking it to the public libraries and having drag queen reading hour, satanic reading hour in school. I'm trying to tell you about a pole shift. The earth is in convulsions. The earth is in convulsions and beginning to wobble as a drunkard. The earth, and the scientists agree that something is wrong now. Astronomers agree something is out there, but they have no explanation. Remember, when a scientist has no explanation, it has to be God. And when the pole shift comes, you won't have time to do nothing but hold on. And survival will become your agenda. And I believe, just like when Jesus returns, I believe this pole shift is going to catch us as a thief in the night too. One day we're going to wake up and it's not going to be like yesterday at all. You got people like me and some others out there begging you and showing you this evidence that the earth is in trouble. But you just go ahead and stay on your video games and laugh at me and click off, and I'll leave the comment section open for you so you can put your little comments down there. I know you like doing that. And all I can say is I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm praying for you because Jesus Christ is coming.
Pardon me, I've got something to say. When soul grows tired, the devil he comes to play. This old cat's been sitting on a fence too long. Jesus is a light in my corner, darkness is long gone. What was I thinking? The Son, the Holy Ghost in me.